Good morning, friends. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Grace and I want to wish you a wonderful holiday season. Today we're going to give you a tour of all our amaryllis that are blooming around the house. We have at least a few dozen to look at, but before we do that, I want to head over to Josh's house because he's put the siding and the cedar shakes on the roof, and within 1 week, the garden library is going to be delivered. So let's take a look at all his hard work, and then I'll see you back here for a tour in just a second. Well, let me know what you think of the exterior of the garden library. Let Grace know what you think too. She's pondering that while she's dreaming about probably bones and new toys for Christmas. But I'm so excited. I love the cedar shakes for the roof. I love that we're using reclaimed wood for the siding, all reclaimed windows, a reclaimed door. That reclaimed door is actually being sent off to have the paint removed. Reclaimed screen doors. So many products around the shed and encompassing the shed or the garden library that really have a story to tell from the past, and now we'll have a whole new story to tell in the future. So what's still yet to come is this week Josh is going to put insulation in. He's also going to put up beadboard walls, and then it's going to be delivered in just a week's time. Then about a month is going to pass and he's going to come back and he's going to build us custom bookcases. I have a picture of his drawing I can put right here. It's going to be floor to ceiling bookcases, so it'll be so cool to have that really sharp peak filled with bookcases. And he's also going to leave me some sections where I can put artwork, vases, pin frogs, maybe a 1950s typewriter. So with that update, let's go ahead and now do an amaryllis update here in my home. So let's start here in the dining room because this is where we usually spend the most time together, right here on my dining room table. I'll tell you what I did. I spent way too much money on this amaryllis china. This is a limited edition set from Lenox back in, I think, 2004, and I wasn't able to get a complete set, so I had to buy some on Etsy, some on eBay, and some of the amaryllis are kind of a more vibrant red, some of them are more of a muted red, and that must be just based on how they were used by the previous owner. Here we have some cut amaryllis. This is mainly lemon star. I think there's some white candle around the other side, but these are many weeks old now, at least 2.5 weeks old. Cut amaryllis just last forever. Another reason why I absolutely love them. So over here in our coffee bar area, which is part coffee bar and part record storage because I don't know where else to store my records, we have Mandela, and Mandela is this amazing, really dark, red, almost black, I guess you could say deep scarlet. Such an amazing amaryllis. Having now grown Mandela and red pearl, I would say that Mandela is a little bit darker, but the blooms are a little bit smaller. It's really hard to say which one is better because they're both beautiful, but definitely if you like a dark colored amaryllis, both Mandela and red pearl are a really good choice. All right, let's head into the living room now. We don't spend a lot of time in here together. This is an old 1947 house, so we have all the old radiators. I'm not even sure if I showed you this Christmas tree yet. It basically just has alliums, pine cones, and some plastic balls on it. Here's another Mandela, and I've got to figure out how to get my records over to this area. I have some old magazines from the 1950s here, and that's Grace's toy box. My husband likes to play chess, or rather he likes to beat me at chess, so we always have a chess game going. Here's a beautiful Amaryllis called Amadeus. Gorgeous white double. A little bit of pink there on the edges. Now, unfortunately, Charisma has not bloomed yet, but this is that beautiful bowl that Crane sent me from Cranery Gardens here on YouTube. I'm really excited to see those blooms. But as you can see, the star of the show is Magical Touch. Let me pull back so you can see what that looks like. Aren't those gorgeous? Now, seeing Magical Touch in person, wouldn't you say they're hot pink instead of red? I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy. There's a really interesting story about how Magical Touch got its name. It was bred by a really famous breeder. I think it was introduced back in 2014. And one of his customers said, Tom hasn't lost his magical touch, when she first saw this new Amaryllis that he bred. And so he really liked that, and he decided to go with that name, Magical Touch. So I thought that was so cool. Basically, one of his customers named his Amaryllis. I thought that was so sweet of him. So that's a look at the Amaryllis in the living room. Grace is obviously unimpressed. So let's go into the kitchen now. So here in my kitchen, I have an Amaryllis that I cannot wait to share with you. This one is called Blossom Peacock, and I was writing an article about 10 must-grow Amaryllis, and I listed this as #1. This is a double Amaryllis introduced back in 1997, and just look at the symmetry on these double blooms. You know, a lot of the time with double Amaryllis, they are not symmetrical in terms of the back petals being symmetrical with the front petals, or I believe they're actually called maybe petaloids, the front ones. But aren't these amazing? It's really kind of a hot pink red. It's reading more red in the camera versus in person. It has a little bit more pink to it. And I just paired 2 stems of Blossom Peacock with some eucalyptus from my girlfriend's flower farm. She grows that in a hoop house. Here we have also 2 stems of Picasso Amaryllis. I've never grown Picasso before, and I don't think I'll grow it again. The photograph that I was looking at had a pure white Amaryllis with a red line around each petal, but it did not have all of this speckling and freckling, and I don't really care for that. It does say Christmas, but I don't know. I think there's so many great Amaryllis out there. I'm not sure I put Picasso on a top 10 list, but my mom had these old solar lights, and she just turned them into vases for me. Wasn't that nice of her? So now let's head into the garden room together. There's a step down to get into this room. I think I've shown you this variety before. This is Cape Horn. It's just an absolutely fantastic, bright bubblegum pink Amaryllis with a white star in the center and a green throat. If you like pink, actually I think someone was asking me about a Barbie pink Amaryllis. This is reading a little bit more orange in the camera than it is in real life. This is a true Barbie pink Amaryllis. I think we're getting a little bit of a yellow cast from the lights on our dried flower Christmas tree. Now let me turn us slowly this way, and you'll see that I'm basically using this room to hold over Amaryllis that aren't quite ready yet. That way I can place them around the house once they are in bloom. Spartacus is still blooming. Can you believe it? I think Spartacus and Double Dragon were the first varieties to bloom this year. Really screams Christmas, Santa Claus. The waxed Amaryllis all are putting up beautiful buds and leaves, but this is just still kind of a working garden room. Here in our Eagle's bathroom, we have 3 stems of White Candle Amaryllis. I think White Candle is still my all-time favorite Amaryllis for cutting. The blooms are absolutely ginormous. You can see I damaged one a little bit there, but these have been cut for about 2.5, almost 3 weeks, and I think I've only cut 1 bloom off. Isn't that amazing? So let me know what Amaryllis you liked best. I think it's really hard to beat Magical Touch. And if you have a particular cultivar that you're in love with right now, please let me know the name in the comments section so that I can add it to my personal Christmas wish list. But I want to wish you a wonderful day out there in your gardens. And if I don't see you before Christmas, a very Merry Christmas to all of you. Bye.